Hi everyone. I want to do today a tutorial on making some pens with Fimo clay or Sculpey, whatever you want to call the clay. I have a couple that I already started just to kind of show you what I'd be making. So this little pen has little hearts, and you can put the hearts, see if you're writing this way the hearts are facing down, but if you're looking at it, you know, the hearts will be facing you. So you can orient your things however you like. Actually, I had that upside down. So generally I orient them so that they're facing, here's the tip of the pen, so they're facing upright. So there's just some little hearts. This is a cane I actually learned how to make on YouTube. I looked up how to make canes, and so I made these little flower shapes. Hopefully you can see them. I don't know how much light's coming in here right now. So I made these little dots. This isn't my favorite pen, but the cane was really a lot of fun to make. So anyway, what you're going to need are, generally what I like to use is the Bic round stick plain pens, and I just went to Walmart to get some a few months ago and they had them, and this time they didn't have any more of this plain round stick. They had these blue ones, which I'm assuming is going to be the same. It shouldn't melt when you bake because you have to bake Fimo clay, but a pack of like 36 pens is like 3 something, so it's the same shape. I'm hoping it doesn't melt. It looks like it's the same consistency as far as the plastic of this other type, but we'll see. I'll let you know. But generally, you used to be able to find these everywhere, just the regular Bic, and maybe you can still find them at office supply stores. And I went to Target. They only had Papermate, so I picked some of those up, even though those might not work. I'll let you know. And the Papermate ones that look like the Bic pens. Again, they're like $1 and 2 something each. So I will try those out, and I'll let you know. But for right now, I'm going to use the Bic pen. And how I make my pens is I pull this whole thing out. Now, I don't know if you can see it very well. You know when you have your writing pen, it has this black portion. I pull the pen out there, so leaving this black portion in. Some other people, you might see a tutorial where they leave, where they take the whole thing off, the black portion along with the pen barrel, and just leave this. But I like to cover this tip too, because I don't like that the clay ends here and then you have this other tip. So I barely pull out the gold portion, if that makes any sense, because I know it's usually gold, and pull that out, okay? And you might need a little jewelry plier or something to do that with. And you're gonna need your clay. So generally, you know, they have Fimo clays. You don't want to mix your brands because they do take different temperatures to bake at. And then I have lots of Primo Sculpey clay. So today I'll be using Sculpey brand clay. And I already conditioned, which all it means is just open up the package and mush it around with the warmth of your hands so that your clay is nice and pliable. And I'm first going to show you how I wrap the pen. And I'm using black. You can use whatever color you want in your background of your pen. And I'm just going to show you my clay pasta roller over here. I only use it for clay, this one, because this stuff is toxic, I suppose. You're not supposed to mix this with food items. Even when you go to bake it, you don't want to bake it directly on anything that you're going to use for food later. So anyway, I just shove it in there, and I have it on the 7 setting, which is, I would say, about 1/8 of an inch thick. Okay, so I just ran it through. It's just a little chunk of clay, maybe 1/4 of a square, of this square. And so I have this, and it doesn't have to be perfectly smooth, even sometimes when it runs through there, especially because I was messing with it, it has some little air bubbles, but you're going to roll it around so much that it doesn't really matter. So I already know for a Bic pen, let me close up a little bit. For a Bic pen, you're going to want to, this little sheet that you're going to wrap around your pen is going to be about 1 inch. Oops. It's going to be 1 inch tall. I'm just going to trim this down a little bit just to make it nice and straight. You can also just wrap it and cut it off as you wish, but I like to make it nice and straight, so I already have it ready to go. And I usually make a template just out of paper, and I just kind of cut around my paper, but I already measured it, so I want it to be 1 inch tall and about 5 1/4 inches in the length. Okay, so then we just measure that. On the other pens, you can just try it out, and then, you know, how I even found out my measurements at first was that I actually went ahead and kind of wrapped it, and then when I unrolled it, then I measured it, and that's how much it was. So I need this to be about 1 inch high. And I like it to be a little bit short when I go to, I'm just going to hopefully cut that straight. You want to cut it straight so you don't have sides that are already meeting when the other sides don't. Okay, so then you have this little piece of clay. It's about 1/8 inch thick, and if you don't have a pasta roller, you can just roll it out with whatever kind of roller you might have to work with clay. And I'm going to place my pen here, right towards the very bottom edge, and I'm just going to start kind of wrapping it up onto the pen. And the reason these pens are really good is because it adheres really easily. I mean, there's no glue or anything, but it's already sticking down. And then you just kind of roll it, push, roll it, and you're gonna see that there's still an opening there, so you see the white of the pen. And I like that because if you make it so that it meets and you start rolling it to smooth it, it's gonna make the clay kind of grows. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it kind of grows with it, so you're gonna end up with this tube that's over your pen, not really adhere to it. Okay, my baby just woke up, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish rolling this, and I will meet you on the other side just very quickly. I'm going to show you. All you're going to do is roll it, and see as you roll it, it starts meeting, okay? And once it's met, all the little edges come together. What I usually do with my pasta, with a little roller or something, is kind of smooth that crease. What do you call that? The edges. And just roll some more, and just kind of rolling nice and gentle from the middle out, and you're gonna end up not being able to see that that line there where it met, okay? And just kind of pinch at the very tip. This is the tip part. It's grew a little bit. See how it's a little bit bigger? It's sticking out over the edges of the tip. I kind of feel around where the tip is, and I just slice that little piece off, or pinch it off if you don't have a little slicer. That's fine. And just kind of tuck it. So that makes a nice little tip, okay? And then I get a bamboo skewer, and I just reopen that little hole in case there's any clay covering it, because when you put your pen tip back in there, you don't want it to be blocked. So when you go to put this after you bake it, it's gonna look nice and it's gonna get in there, okay? So you wanna make sure you don't have any clay blocking that area. Okay. And then on this other edge, just keep tucking, pinching, tucking. And the clay is very forgiving, so don't pull too tight, but just kind of keep pinch and tuck, pinch and pat, and you're going to end up covering that seam up also. That's the word I was looking for, seam. So you can make it flat if you want, or a rounded edge, whatever you prefer. Okay? I'm just going to... And you can do this with your finger too. I just use that little tool since I have it. And then just kind of roll it some more just to kind of even it out. I've seen a lot of tutorials where people's are very lumpy and I'm not sure what they're doing, but you just want to kind of roll it gently and just play with it. Okay? And then you're going to have a pen that's covered like that. Okay, I am going to go check on my baby, and that'll leave you with a little homework to do if you want to just wrap your pen, and then when I come back I'll show you how I decorate it, okay? Bye-bye.